Hey everyone, it's Natalie. So, I've been getting a lot of emails and things like that, just regarding on how to deal with your narcissistic in-law and going no contact. And, I can tell you as someone who has been through that the only way to stop your trauma and start healing is by going no contact, unfortunately. And that means going no contact with people that are around the narcissist, that associate with the narcissist, that you quote unquote love or are friends with. Because these are people fixers. These are people that are trying to find acceptance throughout the journey of your healing by going back and telling the narcissist for their own selfish needs of acceptance. And so if you are in this trap of where you do not know where to go or what to do because your husband is either beside you and supports you, or they're not supporting you. So what I can tell you from life experience is if your husband is not supporting you by going no contact, then you just simply go no contact. And yes, there is going to be fights and there's going to be arguments of that you're the problem from your husband or you're not giving them a chance or whatever it is. But the truth of the matter is you're guarding yourself, because the purpose of trying to protect yourself from someone like this is getting away from them. So let's say that you are going to family events or you have children, or there are things like they're inviting you over to make amends. That amends will not last long. Okay, I went through this for 24 years. I tried to make amends many times, even after my child was born. And within the first year of my child being born, she went back to her old ways, even though throughout the time of her showing up to my house, uninvited, not calling, things like that, I let it go. I let it slide until the last moment that she brought her husband over, knowing that I had already asked her to show me stepping out of character and slamming that door in their face and telling them to get the F out of my house. This is a Hoover technique that they will try to use when they realize they have upset you, and you do not fall for it. And so if you are in a predicament where you are trying to distance or gray rock or go no contact with this person, and I've made so many videos on this, and I guess maybe some of my channel members have not scrolled down enough to see that I've made these videos, but I am answering questions that I have gotten from viewers. And I'm going to remake this video and tell you that they will never change. And in fact, the question I ask is, do you think a narcissist could ever change? No, they can't. Can you change a psychopath? No, because the chemistry in their brain is different than ours. They have a personality disorder. You cannot change that person, right? So you have to look at a narcissist with NPD the same exact way. They will not change. They will do things to make you feel as though they've changed, but through time and patience, they will go back to their old tactics, which then brings you back into the cycle. But the thing that you don't know is while you're giving them this second, third, fourth, whatever chance to change and prove themselves, you're actually still in the cycle. And so you have to be strong enough to stand up and say, enough is enough. I will no longer do this, and I am going to go my separate ways. If you choose to have a relationship with your parent, please do not involve me and keep me out of your mouth and keep it very surface, and do not let the narcissist know anything about me or anything else that is going on in our family life. The worst thing that your husband could do, because the narcissist has trained them to do this, to find faults in you and make excuses to divorce you or leave you, is your husband going to their parents for marital advice. Marital advice. They have been grooming and training their child for that moment. Even the petty things, even the little things that weren't really fights, that were just things that maybe you didn't have a agreement on. Well, what your husband will do, will go to the narcissist and tell them this. And you know what the narcissist would say? They will say the opposite of what you have asked your husband not to do. And this is to trigger you. And this is to get you to step out of character. And you have to realize that when your husband comes home after discussing these matters, and he is set on what his mother has said that you guys should do, and is trying to convince you to change your mind on the decision that you have made, is wrong. And you stand your ground and you say, no, this is what I said in our marriage. We agree upon it. I don't care what your mother said. This is my marriage. This is your marriage. She has no part of our marriage. And what we discussed had no business of you going back and discussing it with your mother, who is a narcissist, or a father, whoever it is. And so you need to watch out for these warning signs and tactics that your husband will pull on you, because the narcissist has pulled it on them. And they, because have been trained to do what the narcissist says. You have to realize that you have to be the stronger person in the situation in your marriage to say, no, that narcissist has nothing to do with our decision, and our decision was already made, and it will stick. And whatever you and your mother talked about is irrelevant to our marriage. And this is the type of attitude you have to gain strength in. Because it is easy to go along with what your husband wants that situation to go forward in, because his mother gave him the advice that this is the way it should be. And it's because she is trying to trigger you. Because your husband goes over there and tells them what you talked about, and she will do the opposite of what you discussed. And it is to get you upset. And that is the goal, okay? And so when you are in this predicament where you have a mother-in-law who is a narcissist, who will try to do everything to get you to step out of character, you stay in character. You stay calm, collective, and quiet. You stand your ground. And you do not let anything that your husband, who's talked to the narcissist about your personal issues in your very own marriage, and you ignore them, because they do not matter. Only yours does. Only what happened in your marriage matters. And I know it can be difficult in a time where you are going no contact, because the love bombing and the hoovering is going to be the most extreme, and you're going to see very ugly sides of this person that you probably already seen, but it's going to be worse. So be prepared, okay? What I can say is be prepared, and don't step out of character. You stay in character, and you make sure that whatever she does or says in front of your face or behind your back, you ignore it, and you straight up tell her to her face if she is in your face saying these things. I'm sorry, this is my marriage. I didn't believe that I invited you into my marriage, so I would politely ask you to leave my marriage. We will make our own decisions the way we want. And if you don't like it, you can go home to your husband and make the decisions you need to make in your marriage by yourself. This is short, but peace, love, and harmony. I'm just answering a few questions. And by the way, I had a couple people text and email me about the video I made last saying about, self-medicating and smoking cigarettes and things like that. And they know that I know that they do this. It was not directed towards you, okay? It was talking about my own life experience. And I would never come on this channel belittling or criticizing anyone for doing any self-medication like tobacco or alcohol or gummies or anything like that to get through this tragic time, because I don't blame you. You don't have a husband that listens. Some of you do. And so what do? You either sit there and you look at that flame blade with the rope and you think, should I end it? Or should I divorce? Or should I leave? Or should I whatever it is? But I can tell you that if you use my techniques, you will defeat the narcissist. See, right now, she thinks she has control over your marriage, and she doesn't. And you have to start stepping up your game, even if you are bashful, timid, or shy, and you're not used to confrontation. You better start practicing it. Because the number one thing you got to start doing is healing. Because if you are constantly thinking about this person throughout the day, all the time, you're not living life. You're living the life that she chose for you. Think about that. You're living your life by the choices that she's made to make you live the life that you're living now. She wants you to live the life she gave you. And you have to prove her wrong. And you have to live the life you want to. Because when you start to defeat the narcissist, they're paralyzed. They're paralyzed. They can't get to you anymore. And when they realize they can't get to you anymore, you've won the game. And it's going to take time to heal. But it's going to take time. It's going to take you to stand up, say you've had enough, no matter if your husband wants to stay in contact or not. But it's time for you to start protecting yourself. What happens when a narcissist just shows up to your house uninvited? You don't open that door and let them in. You say, I'm sorry, you didn't call. We didn't have plans for you to come over. So you're crossing a boundary. I don't appreciate it. And I really politely would like to ask you to leave. That way we can have a boundary set. And that way we can have a loving, kind, courteous relationship with each other. But showing up to my house uninvited is not courteous. And so if you want to build a relationship with me, call me first. And then I will invite you into my home. But you don't let those people walk into your home when they're knocking on the door and they're unexpected. It doesn't matter if it's at a restaurant or wherever it is. If they find out where you are and they show up and they were not invited, you need to go up to them and verbally say, instead of letting it bother you and ruining that celebration, that party, that dinner, that lunch, and say, hey, I didn't invite you. I'm not trying to be rude, but I made a reservation for so many people, and you were not on that reservation, and so you're not going to be able to enter. And so I just would like to politely ask you to leave, because I feel like you're crossing a boundary, finding out where we are, even when you're not invited to be here. And I would also like to add that I do invite you places. I do invite you to go do things, but you don't have to be part of everything I do with my family or my children. And I think it's inappropriate that you find out secretly through others where I am, my location, where my family is, and you just show up and I'm not expecting you. Nobody else, not even your own child's expecting you. And you're showing up. And so you confront these people. That's what you have to start doing, confronting them. You don't let them get away with this. Because when you start confronting them, their behavior will start changing, where they know that if they show up again, the same thing's going to happen. And you're putting them in their place. And you're setting boundaries. All right. Peace, love, harmony, guys. Love y'all. Bye.